TC Spiritual Shepherd. Today we're going to be talking about Neville Goddard's deluxe collection. I've already done a lot of this stuff. I'll put the book below, but I'm going to get into chapter 3, the power of assumption. Okay, and this is really getting into the law of assumption. This is coined by Neville Goddard. Ultimately, he really went into the power of the law of assumption and really assuming best case scenario, assuming that you're already in best case scenario, assuming you're always right, assuming that you're always on time, assuming that you're always in divine timing. And so then wherever your life aligns with that, you can also realign. You can, you are able to change and adapt. 555, you are able to change and adapt. You are able to transform. You are able to transmute. Okay, it's not that you grow up, you're 25 and you just stay still and you're nothing. Okay, and like whatever you were born, as and into, that you have to stay there. You don't have to stay anything that you don't ever want to stay. You can literally transform your subconscious mind. You can rebuild, restructure, realign your subconscious mind to certain belief systems and patterns that you align with. Okay, and ultimately, also by studying this, you help free your own mind and be able to free other people's minds. So let's really get into this. A man's consciousness is as he thinks. A man's consciousness is as he thinks, desires, and loves. All that he believes is true and consents to. This is literally everything I say. Okay, I don't even think I've read this chapter, but consent to. You have to consent to it. You have to contract to it. So if someone yells at you and you don't respond, you don't consent to it. Okay, you literally do not consent to it. This is why change of consciousness is necessary before trying to change the outer world or seeing change in the outer world. It's by changing the inner world. It's by changing the internal, eternal world. It's by seeing a new version of the inner being within you. You have an inner being and you have an external outer projection of a being, which is ultimately your hologram, which is ultimately your physical body, which a lot of people identify with their flesh. They are not their flesh. They are the spirit or the soul inside of the flesh at different frequencies, depending on how identified or unidentified and how associated, maybe not identified, but how associated they are with as the body or with their body, and how unassociated or disassociated they are, which is what dark room enlightenment teaches. Dark room enlightenment talks about this stuff all of the time. Literally study dark room enlightenment, and you guys can actually start to see that this is God calling us forward. This is God calling us into the cave, to go into the cave, transmute, transform our old shadow self, our old darker self, our old belief systems, our old limiting belief systems, our limited self, and then ultimately coming out stronger. And this is all chiming into, the cave analogy, the cave allegory. Okay, so you go into a cave and you are given illusions, and then eventually you transcend those illusions and delusions, and you realize that you were born in an illusion. As well as when you go into a dark room, which is ultimately what I teach, which I teach private stuff. Seek me out one-on-one if you guys are really interested. It's easier than you think. It's funner than you think. I know funner is a word, by the way. In my reality, funner is a word. So ultimately, that's what dark room teaches, is disassociation with identity, with who you aren't. I want to disassociate from who I'm not. I want to associate all of who I am. Rain falls as a result of change in temperature, even by just 1 degree. Depending on the higher regions of the specific type of atmosphere, so is, in like this manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of change in states of consciousness. So we change our states of consciousness. What is that? I will put that right here. So as you move from anger into joyfulness, you're going to attract a new reality. You're going to parallel jump into a new reality based on that state of consciousness, that vibrational parallel reality. You can even see these as different parallel realities, different light vibrational parallel realities. That's exactly what it is. It's the ladder of everything. So as you start to climb that consciousness ladder, you're going to start to do this. You're going to start to transform yourself. Oh, check this next one out. Be ye transformed by the renewing and the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2. Okay, so be transformed by the renewal of your mind, by transforming your consciousness. conscious thought. Where does thought come from? The mind. So by actually becoming conscious or aware of your thought patterns, of your thought egregores, which is accumulation of all of the thoughts that you have, what is the totality vibration of all of the vibrational thoughts that you've ever had? So you have some low vibrations, middle vibrations, low vibrations of thought forms. And then that all, builds up into one big thought egregore. What vibration is that? And that is your thought consciousness. And you can build that. That is ultimately what you can do. You can cultivate that. And we do that through practice. We do that through practices that we actually practice our daily lives, like that we are ultimately cultivated. Like it is very much like arrogant and complacent as well to just think that we don't do anything, that, oh, you know what? Well, on the weekends, I can be gluttonous and I can drink alcohol, but I believe in this guy named Jesus Christ and then I'm going to heaven. But you're a glutton and you're a drunkard. I'm not coming at you. I'm saying that I've been there too. I'm saying that I've also been there where I had that belief system as well. I truly believe that it's inside of us and it's about eradicating our ego. And that is a more powerful way. I mean it. It is a way more transformative way when somebody sees and does what I say, when they really do what I say, when they really have faith in their brother and faith in their sister, how much power and empowerment they will feel when they transform their actions and their own habits, when they really start to cultivate and transform the thought patterns that they're actually doing, when they go through better affirmations, when they go through better suggestions, when they go through better declarations. I'm speaking this passionately because this is my purpose. This is what God has called me to speak to you. This is absolutely what I'm supposed to speak, because this is like, no way it's supposed to be the other way. No way. God is within us, and as we shed more of our ego, we can be in more connection and relationship with the God in us, not outside of us. And all the one in us we're all connected to it. We're all connected to it. Where do you go when you sleep? We all go to the same place when we sleep. We all go to the same place. We all go to a higher consciousness in our sleep. Prove me wrong. You fly in your sleep. You can do so many things in your dreams. 100%. To be transformed, the whole basis or the holy basis of your thoughts must change. 555. You must change your thoughts to change your reality. And as you change your thoughts, the things that you think about will also change your reality. And also, when you change your reality, that reality will also start to change your thoughts and transform your thoughts even more. The way that you change your belief systems about things, those things will start to believe about you differently as well. The first step is renewing the mind of desire. You must want to be different. You must desire to be different and intend to be different. So you must have the intention to be different before you can actually begin to change yourself, 555, to be different. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. So this is the law of assumption. A lot of people say, I have to go out there and try to change this and change this and change this and change this. Okay, I have to go do this and this. You just have to see yourself already as that being. And that there's a little bit of a dissociation pattern. So I had a phone call this afternoon about, she was saying, like, it's really hard to change my mind. Like when I'm like, I am poor or I am in poverty right now. So the whole thing is you have to see all the ways right now that you're rich, that you are prosperous, that you are abundant. And sometimes that's not material. Sometimes that's not resource. Sometimes that's not financial. Sometimes that is in relationships. Sometimes that's in knowledge. Sometimes that's in wisdom. Sometimes that's in emotion. Sometimes that's your youth. Sometimes that is priceless. Sometimes it's that you have realizations and actualizations and you've done all of these powerful things. You've cultivated your mindset. Maybe you're a genius. Maybe you have all of your limbs. That is something that is abundant. So you have to really start to think like this, and maybe it's like, I have a load of supplements. I understand fitness. I understand, the earth. I understand sustainability. I know how to garden. I know how to do solar. That's abundance. Like you could literally, like if we were to all come together and have a huge community, you would be a huge asset and huge skill set to the community. And we are a community of 8 billion people. And a lot of us are out of pocket and a few of us are in the bag. Okay. But we really have to start to see that we can all be in our own bag, in our own self, in our own internal state of being, and really go and seek the inner being. Seek, knock, and ye shall find. Ask, seek, knock, and ye shall find. Internal. Ask yourself internally, what do you want? Not ask your external physical self, what do I want? Ask internally, what does he want? What does he want internally? You ask those types of questions. What is best for he? What is best for he? Because he is greater than I. This identity, this solo individual, this I individual. Okay, you have to start to see that it's the being that connects all of us that we must talk to. You can't run far enough away from yourself. You can run 100 miles like David Goggins, you will still show up and yourself will be there all 100 miles and you'll still be there at the end of it. Seek yourself. It's all internal. Now you do this by assuming the filling of your wish fulfilled, making your future dream a present fact. So it's cultivating the law of assumption. By desiring to be other than what you are, you create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. If this assumption is persisted in consistently until it becomes your dominant feeling, the attainment of your ideal is inevitable. Look at, I quote this every single day. I quoted it today when I was with my boy Jackson. I literally quoted this. I said, persistence is undefeated. Persistence is inevitable. If you are consistently persistent, if you're consistently persistent in the attainment of the assumption, then you have already attained it. If you are persistent for 5 years, you will win. Okay, you will win. Persistence is undefeated. Okay, continuity, undefeated. Continuous habits, continuous habitual construction, undefeated. Consistent days, undefeated. Persistency, undefeated. These things, patience, undefeated. Okay, because long game wins. Long game always wins. I don't know how much longer we got. Maybe a few more moments. He only knew the flame who in it burned, and only he could tell who never to tell returned. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, be strong then and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours, let no other hand do. The work that is yours, let no other hand do. For the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within the kingdom of heaven. Heaven is head. Okay? The heaved up energy is heaven. Heaved up. The temple. The Ark of the Covenant is right here. Okay? And ultimately, I will even put stuff right here about the brain and how it's intercorrelated with the temple is right here. The fountain within. The fountain within is also filling up the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. I just trust me. I've been literally studying this stuff for so long. If you guys want me to prove my point, just ask me and text me and I'll send you some proof. The man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled in the faith that is the only way to the realization of his dream is not ready to live consciously by the law of assumption, although there is no doubt that he does live by the law of assumption, but it's unconsciously. So there are people who you watch all of your assumptions, watch what you're assuming. And as you start to realize this, every word, watch the law of assumption. To reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. I just posted this on IG. To reach a higher level of being on my YouTube, to reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of self. If you will not imagine yourself as other than who you are or what you are, then you will remain as you already are because you've already assumed that you already are that. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in sin. Ye shall die in your sins. John 8:24. If you do not believe that you are he, the person you want to be, or that you are in connection with the inner God, the inner being, the energy, then you remain as you are. Then you will remain something else other than I am he. Through the faithful, systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have already fulfilled the desire to which you have become the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. It's very important to be who you already are now and be the best version. I would say Christ consciousness on the planet now. Be Christ-like now. Speak good now. Love now. Be patient now. Be persistent now. I love you guys. I love you, family. Everything's below. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Peace.